I'm Brent with Wide Open Moto here in San Diego. Today we're going to be working on Williams' 2025 Kawasaki ZX6R, getting rid of this diving board in the back and installing a New Rage Cycles tail tidy fender eliminator, which is right here. And not only is this going to look a lot better, it's also going to save some weight on the bike. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the seats off. So on the 2019 through current, you're going to be pulling off the rider seat first. Reach in here, there's a little pin to pull on to remove the passenger seat. We're going to set those off to the side. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to move the exhaust servo out of the way. So this is going to be a 10 millimeter here and a 10 millimeter here. And then we'll be able to disconnect all the wires from here and take out the bolts that actually hold the fender on for the OEM parts. We're gonna start again with a 10 millimeter and we're gonna pull out 1 and 2. That's gonna let us move this out of the way to get down to these 4 screws. They're all gonna be 5 millimeters. And the next thing we're gonna do is we are going to remove the wire strap here and we're going to start disconnecting the wires. Actually, there's one more strap here also, which we do not need to disconnect. This is for the servo. So we're just going to be disconnecting what's going to be the turn signals and the license plate light. So that's going to be 3 wires. So we have 1, and you just push down on the tab right here and pull. They're all going to be the same. And there's 2. And this one might be a little bit different, but we should just be able to push down on this tab and pop it out. So that's all 3 wires there. This is going to be your license plate light and your 2 turn signals. And then we're going to go in here, we're going to take a 5 millimeter Allen, and we're going to come down here and we are going to take out these 4 screws. So we're also going to be taking out these Phillips head bits right here, 1, 2, and it's easier if you have somebody helping you. So I'm gonna have William hold the fender, and we're gonna take these 2 screws out, and that will release the whole OEM fender. So now that we got these out, we're gonna collect our bolts here, and this fender should just come right off. We're gonna feed our wires through, make sure they don't get stuck. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna weigh the stock OEM fender versus the New Rage. We're gonna tear it, and we are gonna set this on here, and it's 25.22 ounces. And we're gonna weigh the New Rage, and that's only 7.23 ounces. All right, so here's what we've got. We've got your turn signals here, your license plate holder, and your license plate light wire. What we're gonna do is we are gonna mount our license plate first to the license plate holder, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our bolt and our spacers on. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna mount our license plate to our fender eliminator. So we're gonna pull these nuts off, and these are usually only hand tight, but if you need to tighten them, it's 10 millimeter, and we're just gonna hold it with a 4 millimeter Allen wrench and just snug those down. They're lock nuts, so they shouldn't back themselves off. Okay, so now that we've got the license plate attached to the plate holder, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set it up for installation. Now to set this up for installation, you have 4 bolts. So we're gonna take 1 bolt, we are gonna put the spacer on, and we're gonna put the lock, it's a little washer to hold everything in place when you're putting it on upside down. So we're just gonna take this, these should just push onto here. And this is just gonna help hold everything in place when we're putting it on the bike. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna repeat the process for all 4. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna mount the license plate on this one. So we'll do one of these for you also. So we're gonna take the screw, we're gonna put it through, and that's gonna hold everything into place when we're installing, all right? All right, so now that we've got all 4 of our bolts installed here with the spacers and our little lock washer here, we're gonna take it and we're gonna run the wires through. So we're gonna take each individual wire, we're gonna push them up. William's gonna give me a hand and hold everything in place while I get it lined up. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna run our wires up through the most rear part of the tail tidy. So they're gonna end up going up here like this. Try to get them into the gap here so they don't get pinched. 4mm Allen underneath here. And we're just gonna come up here. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just test our light before we snug everything and put it all back together. So we're gonna go ahead and plug in our license plate light. We're gonna plug in our right turn signal. And these aren't color coded, so sometimes you'll have to plug them in. And if you have them reversed, just switch them back around. We'll see if we get lucky here and get it right off the first try. So turn the bike on. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna check our left signal. Working good. And our right signal's working good, and our license plate light is on. So everything's working on this. They gave us a couple zip ties, so we're gonna try to clean up some of these wires. But before we do that, we are going to put the servo for the exhaust back into place. Get our two 10mm bolts that we had. And we're gonna get them started here. And go ahead and get these tightened down. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a zip tie that they gave us here to zip tie these wires a little bit cleaner. We're gonna take it and we're gonna just go ahead and wrap it underneath here. And they gave us 4 in the bag. We're probably not gonna need all 4, but we'll probably put about 2 on here just to make sure our wires stay tight. Go ahead and snip off the excess. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna tuck all of our wires back down and get everything away from where the seat's gonna come down. You have the clip right here. So we're just gonna reclip that, zip it in there, and that's it, right? So the last things we're gonna do is put our seats back on, and then this thing's installed. So as you can see, it was a pretty easy install. Realistically, without videoing, it's something that shouldn't take more than 30 minutes to install from start to finish. And that's because New Rage Cycles makes it so easy to install their parts. Check out the link below for the New Rage Cycle Fender Eliminator, and we'll see you guys soon. Again, this is Brent with Wide Open Moto here in San Diego.